Hello! You have made it through week 1 and are hopefully getting more comfortable with the online classroom. In this brief presentation, we'll be discussing experiential learning and academic learning, the credit for prior learning or CPL methods at NOVA, transferring CPL credits, and a quick mention about documentation. Since you will be evaluating your own prior experiential learning in the preparation of your portfolio, it is important to think about the differences between experiential learning and academic or traditional learning. Although these types of learning may look different, they can result in the same or similar learning outcomes. As you have most likely gathered, experiential learning is learning gained from experience, specifically experiences that occur outside the classroom. This could be through work experience, traveling, volunteering, dealing with death or illness, raising a family, etc. The list of learning experiences for adults goes on and on and on. Typically, this type of learning is hands-on and practical, learning by doing. This type of learning occurs as needed, so it may not follow a specific sequence. On the other hand, academic learning is considered more formal because it usually takes place in a classroom. There are formal assessments such as tests and quizzes, it is planned out in a sequence according to a textbook, and it occurs in a group setting with organized activities. Also, academic learning generally is conceptual and theoretical in nature, depending on the subject. Students study the theories and concepts, so they have a knowledge base from which to pull when they begin practicing their skills in the real world. The experiential learning that adult learners bring with them to the portfolio development process is naturally strong from a practical aspect, because adult learners learn the information by doing and practicing. It may be necessary to supplement this practical knowledge with supporting theories and concepts. Students are encouraged to do some additional research to incorporate the theories and concepts from the course they are challenging into their portfolio's learning descriptions. NOVA offers a number of credit for prior learning assessment methods, or CPL methods, to help adult learners gain college credit for the college level learning they have gained throughout their lives. You can see the CPL methods NOVA offers on the screen. Students can pursue one or all of these CPL methods. You can find more information about these by following the web address at the bottom of the screen to go to NOVA's Credit for Prior Learning webpage. And you can look over all those different types. The exam, evaluated trainings if you have military training, possibly ACE or NCCRS evaluated, and then transfer credits as well. Now, it is important to note that not all four-year institutions accept CPL credits. If you are planning to transfer, you need to contact your transfer institution and ask about their policies regarding acceptance of prior learning credits. You also need to ask if they will accept them into the specific program that you are pursuing. So you want to ask about their policies, and then if you're planning to go into a business program, you want to say, will you accept them into the business program? Because different programs have different policies and restrictions on them. One local program that accepts prior learning credits is George Mason's BIS program, or Bachelor of Individualized Studies. This program is designed for adult learners, and it honors non-traditional types of credits, such as credit by exam, military credit, and portfolio credits. And there are different adult learner programs throughout the nation that do honor non-traditional prior learning credits. They're out there. You just have to look a little bit to find them. Alright, in this last slide, I just want to briefly touch on documentation while we are still in the early stages of the course. We will be covering this in more detail in week 7, but it may be helpful to start thinking about your documentation now. Some of you may have different types of documentation, such as certificates, licenses, etc., that are collected and neatly stored away together. That's great. Now others may not have them so neatly organized. That's why you want to start thinking about this now. The documentation that you include in your portfolio is a main factor in determining whether credit is granted for your learning. You want the documentation to support and further demonstrate the learning claims you are making. One great piece of documentation is a letter of verification from an employer, and the details from this are in the Week 7 materials. I'm mentioning this now because you want to start thinking about this, and if you are requesting letters from employers, it may be a good idea to start that conversation early to ensure you will receive them to include in your portfolio. When you have some free moments, review the Week 7 documentation materials to become more familiar with what you will need. And then you kind of, if you have some of those things, you can kind of start finding them or preparing them, just depending on what you'll need. Okay, so please continue becoming familiar with Google Sites, setting up your ePortfolio. Your chronological record is due at the end of this week, the end of week 2. You also want to make sure that you're familiar with the syllabus, with the posting in the discussion questions. By now you should have posted your introduction and possibly responded to some other students as well. And you can see some of my responses in there too. So just become more familiar and more comfortable with the different things that you're using. The Blackboard course, if this is your first course, and also the Google Sites. As always, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope that you guys have a great week. Thanks.